Have you ever heard of a sea route so dangerous that sailors used to write their final letters before crossing it? This is not just a myth. This is the Drake Passage, the most treacherous stretch of ocean on planet Earth. A place where the Pacific, Atlantic, and Southern Oceans clash together in a watery war zone. A place that, even in the age of satellites and GPS, sends chills down the spine of seasoned captains. So why is it called the Drake Passage? What makes it so horrifying, so deadly, that for centuries people avoided it at all costs? To understand that, we need to travel back to the 16th century, the age of empires, pirates, and a man named Francis Drake. Francis Drake wasn't your typical pirate. He was a privateer, a pirate with a license from the British Empire. Imagine a legal pirate allowed to raid, loot, and burn, as long as it served the Queen's interests. While the Spanish Empire controlled much of South America, Britain was hungry for a piece of the cake. So they sent Francis Drake on a secret mission to break Spanish dominance along South America's coasts and bring those regions under British control. In December 1577, Drake set out from England with 200 men and 5 ships. His journey took months, battling storms and betrayal. By the time he reached Argentina, tensions were high among his crew. Accusations of mutiny spread. Drake, not one to forgive lightly, hanged 40 of his own men in Argentina, a message that no disobedience would be tolerated. He left 2 of his ships behind and continued the mission with 3 vessels. Their next goal, to pass through the narrow, dangerous Strait of Magellan, a passage that curls beneath South America. Successfully crossing it meant he could attack Spanish settlements on the western coast. But just as he entered the Pacific Ocean after the strait, disaster struck. A monster storm, waves taller than houses, winds like knives, scattered his fleet. One ship thought Drake was lost and returned to England. Another vanished forever in the brutal chaos. The third, carrying Drake, tried to search for the missing ship. That's when he came face to face with the edge of the known world. The Drake Passage, no maps, no knowledge, just violent seas and a terrifying silence, broken only by howling winds. This 620-mile stretch between Cape Horn and Antarctica was completely unexplored. And what Drake saw terrified him. Mountains of water, ice-cold air, unpredictable whirlpools. It felt like the end of the world. He turned his ship around, convinced that venturing further meant certain death. Little did he know he had just brushed the boundary of Antarctica. The southern continent until then was only a myth. The ancient Greeks had spoken of Terra Australis Incognita, the unknown southern land, but no one had ever seen it. Drake hadn't found a new island, he'd seen the icy edge of an undiscovered continent. This deadly passage, where his ship had nearly vanished, was later named after him, Drake Passage. Not because he conquered it, but because he was one of the few who lived to tell the tale. Even 2 centuries later, it remained a mystery. In the 1700s, the legendary explorer Captain James Cook set sail to find this southern land. He sailed through the Atlantic, past the tip of South America, and into the vast Southern Ocean. But like Drake, he didn't find Antarctica. Instead, he got trapped in the Drake Passage, battling waves that slammed his ship like a toy in a bathtub. He barely escaped with his life. Captain Cook, the same man who discovered New Zealand and mapped the Australian coast, would later write in his journal that the risk of exploring this passage was too great, that no sane man should ever attempt it again. So what makes the Drake Passage so dangerous, even by today's standards? It's not just one thing. It's a perfect storm of terrifying elements. First, geography. It's the only place in the world where 3 massive oceans collide: the Pacific, the Atlantic, and the Southern Ocean. Their waters don't just merge, they crash into each other, creating a powerful current known as the Antarctic Circumpolar Current. This current moves 200 million cubic meters of water per second, making it the most powerful oceanic flow on Earth. To compare, the Amazon River, the largest river in the world, moves 600 times less water than this. And when this unimaginable volume of water squeezes through the narrow gap between South America and Antarctica, it turns into a fury of waves, storms, and pressure. Now add temperature to the mix. Antarctica's icy waters, colder than -5 degrees Celsius, collide with the warmer waters of the Pacific and Atlantic. This clash creates violent winds and towering waves, often reaching 60 to 80 feet. And these are not rare, they're normal. During storms, waves have even reached 100 feet. Modern ships, built to withstand nature's wrath, still struggle here. And that's not all. The region is also one of the most remote places on Earth. To the north, stormy seas. To the south, the frozen emptiness of Antarctica. If your ship sinks here, help is days, even weeks, away. That's why, until the Panama Canal opened in 1914, ships had to take dangerous detours around South America, either through the narrow Strait of Magellan, which was safer but still treacherous, or risk the Drake Passage. Even today, many captains avoid it if they can. But the human spirit is curious and bold. In the early 20th century, during the golden age of exploration, the world's eyes turned south once more. In 1914, British explorer Ernest Shackleton launched an ambitious mission to cross Antarctica. But as his ship approached the Drake Passage, disaster struck. Gigantic waves tossed his vessel into glacial ice. The ship was crushed and sunk. Shackleton and his crew had to camp on floating ice, battling temperatures below -40 degrees Celsius. Eventually, Shackleton and 5 others set off in a tiny lifeboat in search of help. For 1 month, they sailed across the most dangerous seas on Earth. Miraculously, they reached South Georgia Island, and in one of the greatest rescue missions in history, Shackleton returned and saved every single member of his crew. Not one life was lost. Shackleton would later say, "This is the worst and most dangerous part of our world's oceans. Reaching land again felt like a miracle." Even in the modern age, the Drake Passage continues to challenge us. In 2012, Brazilian businessman João Lara and his team were crossing the Drake Passage in a luxury cruise ship to film a documentary. Suddenly, a freak storm hit. Waves 100 feet high slammed the ship into Antarctica's icy cliffs. Thankfully, their radio worked. They called for help. But the storm was so violent that rescue teams from Chile took 4 days to reach them. All 5 people were rescued, shaken but alive. Such incidents have become less common thanks to modern navigation systems and weather forecasting. But even now, cruise liners, naval vessels, and research ships treat the Drake Passage with the utmost respect, like a sleeping dragon that can wake up any time. Interestingly, the very danger that makes this place so feared is also what makes it so important. As Antarctica's ice melts, much of that water flows through the Drake Passage and disperses into the global oceans. This narrow stretch of sea acts like a valve, regulating the planet's oceanic circulation. Without the Drake Passage, our climate systems would collapse. It's strange, isn't it? The same place that nearly killed explorers and swallowed ships is also the place that helps balance the Earth's ecosystems. In a way, it's a reminder. No matter how powerful our technology becomes, nature still has places that we cannot conquer. Only respect. Drake Passage isn't just a stretch of sea, it's a test of courage, of survival, of human limits. And even today, as the world changes, it holds its secrets, whispering tales of ice, wind, and waves that only the brave dare to hear. If you like this story, do consider subscribing to our channel. For you, it's just one click, but for us, it's a wave of motivation. See you in the next video, with another thrilling journey into Earth's wild secrets.